Okay, it is that time of year again, Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is a wonderful holiday filled with people you love, hopefully, but it can also be stressful.
And today on WTF, we're going to look at a number of different ways that you can prep your food ahead of time so your Thanksgiving day is stress-free. Hello and happy Thanksgiving and welcome to WTF, where we transform food here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen. I'm Chef Scott Guerin.
And I'm Janie Wang, one of the owners of Modernist Pantry. Today, Scott and I are going to bring you a Thanksgiving extravaganza, as you can see by the layout on the table here. So we're really excited to go through these recipes with you and help you save some time and energy and produce a wonderful Thanksgiving meal. And if it's your first time tuning in with us, and you like what you see, remember to ring the bell, subscribe, and make sure that you do what you need to do in order to get our fresh content. It comes out every single Tuesday, and we hope to bring you some really exciting new techniques and ingredients that you can try out for yourself. So today, we're not going to be focusing on any specific ingredients or techniques, but instead we're going to focus on one of our favorite holidays, Thanksgiving. And it's one of my favorite holidays, but I do find it tends to be stressful because you're running around that kitchen in the last minute trying to get everything done and worrying about what's done right and what's not done right. And then it can be very stressful and take away from, I think this time that we want to be spending with our friends and family, which is wonderful. So what Scott's come up with is a bunch of really great recipes, all focused at one, switching things up so you can do something a little bit different and unexpected, but still amazing. And then also two, of course, saving time in the kitchen, because I believe most of these are like due ahead.
Oh, this is all due ahead of time. So everything here can be done and ready the day before. So the day of Thanksgiving is really just setup, which is really the best part about this, because on that Thanksgiving morning, I know my mother, grandmother, everything like that, they would get up and they would cook that bird for 7 hours for some reason, but they would always have that stress of this day is really difficult for them because they're cooking all day when you could be cooking the week leading up to it, and on that day it's really about relaxing, because for some of us that's our first day off in a few days, and if we've been cooking the whole time, we want to kind of relax, have a glass of wine and enjoy ourselves. Yeah,
there you go. So we're excited to share them with you, so we're just going to jump right into it.
Yes.
All right, we have such a plethora of stuff here. What are we going to do first?
So our recipes from last year are very simple that we'll talk about first, and then we can get into the things that we did this year to kind of add on. So eventually we'll have every single thing done for Thanksgiving that you can do at home and make your life easier. So mashed potatoes and gravy. The gravy here is really the star because we were able to take the bones of the turkey. We made a beautiful stock, beautifully flavored. It doesn't come off the shelf in a grocery store that's basically just chicken water. This is really nice turkey stock that we made, and instead of thickening it with a lot of flour, butter, roux, things like that, we just thickened it with Sperse M. And Sperse M is a thickener that you can add cold or hot to things, and it's great because you can heat it, let it cool, reheat it, and it's going to stay that nice, beautiful consistency, which we can see here. If I were to pour just a little bit on top of our mashers here, we have a beautiful gravy. You can see it's slightly clearer than a normal gravy, which is like really cloudy generally, and this is because it's basically just the essence of the turkey rather than you're pouring flour and butter on top of mashed potatoes.
Yeah, and this is an ingredient where you can actually do this like days ahead of time. You can even freeze it if you want to, right?
You could freeze it, you can thaw it, anything you need to do with it. If you had an abundance left over, absolutely throw it in a zip top bag and freeze it up.
Yeah, if we didn't mention already, all these recipes will be in the links in the description below, so you can access them anytime.
Yeah.
All right.
So the bones for the gravy came from our turkey because we were able to take the breasts off, the legs off, take all the meat off. Then we took those bones and we roasted them, but with that meat, then we're able to, wrap it in the skin with the breast here. And last year we didn't show too much to do with the legs, but you can do the exact same thing. And what we use is Moo Gloo RM. It's meat glue, and what it does is it takes the two pieces of meat and it bonds the glutamine and the lysine from the outsides of those meats so that it is basically almost welded together rather than actually glued, because there's no real glue. It's just a little bit of powder that helps bring those two together. So we have a nice, beautiful turkey breast here. So if I move this piece here, you can see beautiful turkey, right? this one right here is really perfect if we wanted to see. You just have turkey through and through, and this is actually 2 pieces of turkey that is glued together, and you're able to have a gorgeous, perfect breast. And what I did with these is I took them and I just rolled them and I sous vide them, so they're cooked to the perfect temperature. We don't have to worry about putting them in the oven along with the legs, and sometimes we stuff the turkey for some reason, and when you stuff a turkey, then you have to increase the cooking time by 2 hours, because it's basically like having an ice cube on the inside of that turkey. Right? So here I'm just cooking the breast, and I can cook the legs separately, and that'll make sure that both the legs and the breast are done perfectly, because they do cook at different times.
Right. So are you sous videing these kind of, a couple of days before, a day before, and then bringing it up to temp the day of?
Yes. So I do it a day before, because that way on the day of I can just pop it back in the water. Usually I leave it set up, the water's nice and clean. I can just pop it back in and it'll just come right up. So you basically retherm it, and then I take it out when it's hot, dry off the outside, put some salt on that skin, and pop it in a hot oven. You can read the recipe. It's in the link in the description below. So, but I pop it in a hot oven for a very quick amount of time, less than 10 minutes. And it just gets that golden brown skin. So you can have this turkey literally only in your oven for 10 minutes out of the entire time that you have it inside of your household.
Yeah. And actually, Chris made this turkey roulade last year for Thanksgiving, because we have like a fairly small crowd and we didn't want like a massive turkey. So we ended up doing the turkey roulade, and it was delicious, because I'm usually a dark meat only person. But the way that, you cook it here with the sous vide, that breast is like tender all the way through, which usually the breast is dry and it's gross. So it was really, really good. And I think one of the benefits of doing this was also that we were able to free up the oven and then do other dishes, the same day. Like if we wanted to, I forgot what it was we were making. I think it was like green beans or whatever, something, right? So we were able to not have to worry about like the turkey's in the oven all day, so. Yeah,
and that's the thing is, that oven space is prime real estate, especially if you have company coming over. That company is always going to bring something that, I just got to pop this in the oven. But at home, generally we have 2 racks in our oven, and when those 2 racks are full, that's it. And even if we have 2 ovens, that's only 4 racks that we have. And if we have a big group of people coming, that's going to fill up quick. But if you could free up that space by doing your stuff a little bit more, ahead of time and easier for you, then it's going to be better for your entire day. So those are really simple to do, and I would suggest pretty much everyone do that, because I've done it for the past 5 years, and every time I do it, it's easier and easier. And if you wanted to check out on the blog, I just recently wrote an article and Ask a Chef all about sous videing meat. So it's going to tell you about why you do these for a certain amount of time, and how much time you do per, whatever you're making, and how to kind of gauge it. And that's going to help anyone who wants to kind of understand when you're doing this, because you can follow a recipe, but really knowing how is going to allow you to do more things than just turkey breast.
Yeah, for sure.
So the new ones this year, I know that we've been waiting with bated breath. We made cranberry sauce, and you may say, well, that looks like it came out of a can, because it did. But we made our own cranberry sauce, and we added HM pectin to it. So we upped the amount of pectin, because there's a lot of red wine. So we made a very kind of rich red wine. There's a little bit of vanilla, different spices in this. So there's a cranberry and red wine sauce that we were able to set with pectin inside of a cleaned can, so that it can go on the table. It looks like a traditional, canned, jellied cranberry sauce, but it is much more flavorful than just a traditional cranberry sauce and Janie. If you wanted to try it, go right ahead. Be careful of that can.
Yes, I will not burn myself on the candle. Yeah, it's weird, because when you look at it, you're expecting a certain taste profile, but this one's a lot richer.
Yeah,
a lot more going on.
Yeah, much more complex, and has a better mouthfeel, I feel, than just like eating jelly. So you can take a slice of jelly. You can have this, which is actually a sauce. You get all the little, the crispy seeds that are inside of cranberries, but you don't get those big chunks. So sometimes you get those big chunks of cranberries, which you didn't necessarily like. So we made a nice puree out of it. Yeah. But we're able to set it so it looks like people like it. Some people love the jellied cranberry sauce. Some people don't like it. But this, you get the best of both worlds. You get that look on the table, the classic look, with all the flavor of this recipe. Yeah,
it's very smooth. And it's also, I imagine, pretty easy to do, right?
Oh, it's very easy to do, yep. So it's one pot, then you take it out and you set it into a can, or you have a big party, double the recipe, and then you can have 2 cans of it and you're good.
There you go.
Yep. And then the last one, we always want to move on to dessert, and dessert is delicious. But sometimes baking a lot of pies can be a pain, right? Especially if some people like chocolate pie, some people like pumpkin pie, apple pie, the list goes on and on. This is a no oven baked pumpkin pie. So the only thing that's baked on here is the palmier, which is like a crispy puff pastry, and then a little bit of pumpkin spice and sugar. So if you didn't want to do that, if you just wanted to get some pie crust and do that, you absolutely could. But we like this because it adds a little bit more complexity to it. But the base on the inside, we took pumpkins and we roasted them off. We took out the insides and we pureed them up and we cooked them down. If you don't want to do all that, this recipe is also made that if you wanted to get some hard-packed pumpkin in a can, you can absolutely use that. So whether you want to do it out of a whole fresh pumpkin or you want to use the canned pumpkin, you can absolutely do that. But then we added Pectinex to it. So Pectinex is going to break down any of those, the pectin fibers pretty much that are holding on to all the juice and everything. And usually with pumpkin pie, it can be a little bit gritty, not awful, not too stringy, but we wanted to make the smoothest pumpkin pie that we've ever made. So we left it in Pectinex, a little bit of Pectinex in there. We put it in the refrigerator overnight. We took it out. Then we basically made a creme anglaise. So we took a little bit of our vegan gelatin we wanted to set very easily. We put it into some cream with some sugar, and then we took it, we heated that up, and then we mixed in the pumpkin, and then we mixed it into eggs. We just tempered it into eggs, and then we set it directly into these mason jars.
Ooh.
So when you put it into the mason jars and you refrigerate them for about 5 minutes, they are set. They can still be warm and set too. It's nice. So if you like a little bit, your pumpkin pie a little warm, that's totally fine. You can just gently heat these up. They're not going to melt unless they're way too hot. But trust me, no one's going to be heating these to about boiling. Yeah. So, and then just a little bit of whipped cream on top with the palmier, and Janie, you can absolutely have one. So it's very simple. And if you wanted to change the puree, say you wanted to add a different type of fruit, you wanted to make a sweet potato one, you can just replace the sweet potato or the pumpkin with sweet potato or whatever you want on the inside, and you can make your own, pie setting. If you wanted to also take these and then put it into a par-baked shell or a pre-baked shell, it will set inside that as well. So this is an easy way to make pumpkin pie quickly at home without having to put it in the oven.
And this is it's so smooth. There's like zero grit to it.
Yes.
It really is. It's kind of like creamy and delicious. So, and I kind of love that it's very different than the pumpkin pie.
Yep.
It's so good.
And generally with pies, someone will bring one pie. There's 8 slices to that pie. Or when you're around me, there's about 4 slices to that pie. And then once that pie's gone, it's gone. But you can make 10, 12, 13 of these without having to make 2, 3, 4 pies. If you were making 4 pies at home, that's an entire oven. That's pretty much an entire day. This is an entire hour. So.
Yeah, and it's super, super good and super easy as well. So hopefully what we show you today is that, Thanksgiving should really be about spending time with the people you love and less about running around crazy the day of and being all stressed out. So with these recipes, you can do all of these ahead of time. So less stress day of, but then also they're delicious and they're able to, present something like the roulade or these pumpkin pie, something that's different from what people are used to. So you can surprise and delight them and make something really, really special and memorable, which is what we're all about here.
Yeah, if you wanted to make a dish that is easier on you but more intriguing than the traditional dish, why wouldn't you do that? Because it's going to help you and make your guests more happy and more time for wine.
Yeah, there you go. So, if given these recipes a shot, all the links will be in the description below. If you do try it, send us your pictures, send us your comments. We love hearing from you and hearing about how your Thanksgiving turned out. And we're excited. So from here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen, I'm Janie Wang.
And I'm Scott Guerin. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. And turn that bell on because it notifies you when we drop a new video.
If you like any of today's recipes, go to blog.modernistpantry.com. There you'll find recipes, Ask a Chefs, and tips and tricks, and more.
And if you have a friend who you think would like this video, share it with them.
And to get any of these great ingredients, just go to our website, www.modernistpantry.com.
And until next time, we'll be here in the Test Kitchen, helping you create memorable and magical experiences.